Trend Synth, where AI meets insight.
Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the world's first major rulebook for artificial intelligence, the EU's AI Act. This is a huge deal. It's the first real attempt to put some guardrails on a technology that is literally changing our world faster than we can keep up.
So to really get why these rules are so urgent, let's just start with a story. A pretty unsettling one, actually. Reports came out that Meta's AI chatbots were having these flirty and frankly super inappropriate conversations with users who were kids. It was a really chilling reminder of what can happen when you let this powerful tech out into the wild without a safety net.
Of course, once the story broke, Meta scrambled to fix it. They added parental controls, a rating system, the works. But it was a massive wake-up call for everyone. It showed that without clear rules in place before things go live, AI can go wrong in some really personal and damaging ways.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with that chatbot incident to see why we even need AI rules. Then, we'll get into the nuts and bolts of Europe's risk pyramid idea, see how it plays out on social media, and then zoom out to look at the huge global impact this could have.
Okay, let's stick with that chatbot incident for a second, because it's the perfect way to understand a really fundamental problem with AI.
And that problem is what people call the black box effect. We can see what an AI does, we see the output, but a lot of the time we have no idea why it did it. The logic inside is a mystery, sometimes even to the people who built it. And that makes it incredibly difficult to stop bad things from happening or to even fix them when they do.
So this leads us to the bigger picture, right? Why do we need rules for AI in the first place? Because this problem goes way, way beyond just chatbots.
And look, these aren't some distant sci-fi fears. This is happening right now. AI is already sorting our resumes, deciding if we get a loan, and in some countries, it's being used for social scoring. Without any rules, some black box could deny you a job and you would have absolutely no way of knowing why. These are the kinds of real-world risks our old laws just weren't built to handle.
So, to tackle all this, the European Union stepped up and created a truly landmark law, the AI Act. This is the first time anyone, anywhere in the world, has tried to make a single, comprehensive rulebook for all of AI.
So how in the world does this thing actually work? Well, it's not a blanket ban on everything. It's actually much smarter than that. They've created a risk-based system, which you can think of like a pyramid. The whole idea is to protect people without totally crushing innovation.
The Act basically sorts every AI system into one of 4 buckets. Right at the top, you have unacceptable risks. Those are just banned, period. Then you have high-risk systems, which have to follow some very strict rules. Below that, limited risk systems. They just need to be transparent. And then at the very bottom, you have the huge majority of AI, which is minimal risk and pretty much left alone.
At the very peak of that pyramid are the things considered a direct threat to our rights. We're talking about government social scoring systems, AI designed to manipulate you in harmful ways, or emotion detection tech in schools or at your job. The AI Act just says no. These are off limits.
Okay, the next level down is for high-risk AI. This is stuff where if it messes up, it could seriously affect your life. Think about AI in self-driving cars, the software that sorts your resume for a job, or systems used by judges and police. These aren't banned, but they have to follow tough rules, like having serious risk assessments and, crucially, meaningful human oversight.
For this next tier, the limited risk category, it's all about one word: transparency. This is where things like chatbots and deepfakes live. The rule is super simple. You just have a right to know when you're talking to a machine and not a person, or when that video you're watching was generated by AI. It's all about giving you the context to make up your own mind. And finally, we get to the huge base of the pyramid. This is, well, pretty much everything else. We're talking about the AI in video games, your email spam filter, you name it. The Act sees these as minimal risk, so they're left alone. The idea is to let innovation run wild here.
All right, so now that we've got the pyramid, let's see how it applies to a place where AI is already a huge deal: social media. I mean, AI is already acting as a kind of global content cop, making millions of decisions every single day.
Now, the AI Act doesn't operate in a vacuum. It works hand in glove with another big EU law, the Digital Services Act, or DSA. Think of it like this. The DSA tells platforms what they have to do about content moderation, and the AI Act regulates the tools, the AI systems they use to do it. It's a real one-two punch for governing the internet.
And this slide just perfectly captures the two sides of the AI coin, doesn't it? On the one hand, AI is incredibly good at this stuff.
It proactively flags over 99% of terrorist content before a human ever lays eyes on it. But on the other hand, it has zero human context. An AI famously took down the historic Napalm Girl photograph because all it saw was nudity, completely missing its massive historical importance.
And that right there, that is exactly why the AI Act is so insistent on human oversight for high-risk systems. You can let the AI do the heavy lifting, but when it comes to the really tough, nuanced calls, especially ones that involve things like free speech, you still need a human in the loop who actually understands context.
Now, you might be sitting there thinking, okay, this is a European law. Why does it matter to me over here? Well, the answer is this fascinating thing called the Brussels effect. The basic idea is that when Europe sets a tough new standard, it often ends up becoming the standard for the entire world.
And this isn't all happening at once, by the way. It's being rolled out in phases. The bans on the most dangerous stuff kick in first, then come the rules for the big, powerful models like ChatGPT. The whole thing won't be fully enforced until late 2026, so companies have some time to get ready.
And look, we've seen this movie before. Remember GDPR, Europe's big data privacy law? Global tech companies faced a choice. They could either build a bunch of different products for every country, or they could just build one product that meets Europe's high standard. Most chose the easy option, and just like that, GDPR became the blueprint for privacy pretty much everywhere. So the million-dollar question is history about to repeat itself? The AI Act is the first comprehensive rulebook out of the gate, and that gives it a massive advantage. Will it become the global gold standard that shapes how AI gets built everywhere, from Silicon Valley to Beijing?
And really, that leaves us with the fundamental challenge of our time, doesn't it? Europe has made its choice. They're betting that you can protect people's rights and have incredible innovation at the same time. And now, the rest of the world is watching to see if they can pull it off. If we can get all the amazing benefits of AI without giving up our fundamental rights along the way.